Hey YouTube, hey Twitch, hope you're doing well. Today's YouTube video is going to be another chemistry adventure because I'm bored. So man, I came up with an idea because what if, instead of trying to create the universe, I figured out first that a memory code from another schizophrenic adventure in my head is because turns out your memories represent a chemical pattern. And then I get bored to immediately then figure out what if I loaded in my save of my memories on like a basic level, like with a pattern for my morality system at least, or like, and also my characters for my stories because I was bored. It turns out like if I just focus on my fictional line and have like decent levels of altruism, which is just like based on being my usual autistic self, Spider-Man. I can load it in a save. It's really easy. It's A-B-B-B-C. Based on the memory code. On the actual memory creation, it's like hydrogen, 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 calcium. And something I call bastion. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I just call it bastion. I think it's supposed to represent a castle chess piece of chess on a chemical level. Alright, so here's what I was thinking. So I know this is going to be some narcissistic shit. Before we even get into the adventure, I've explained the save to an extent enough for you guys to at least understand the basis, even if the chemistry is wrong. This is like going to be very impulsive for a reason. I'm fat right now. I don't feel like doing the math to prove it right because I'm not going to lie. There is a memory in the schizophrenic land of I've done this before where every video we do is like 3 hours long of math. And sometimes Fat Man of a Sec has a point. What if I just told you the adventure without every step of the way? We do 2 hours of math. And while we laugh sometimes really epically about how a card shuffle makes something funny, like a fish get morphed into a souffle, becomes a bear, Bill Gates for 20 seconds, then becomes a dildo fish. That's a fish shaped like a dildo that at least has gills, it can flop around, stuff like that. We go with what if instead? I just told you about the adventures, did a basic combo off the top of my head, and we all just laugh. And pretend it's, we all just acknowledge it's a bunch of science mumbo jumbo off the top of my head. And is it real? It might be. If I autistically remember the combos right, I'm not going to lie. I don't think my memory's good enough to do it. Ever. I'm a chemist, but otherwise, no. I think my body at best does it automatically. I don't memorize the math that good. Anyway. Alright, so what adventure should I load in? I got a few saves that are slightly traumatizing. Let's see, what of okay, you know, I'm not gonna lie. Let's go with the first one of complete trauma, since we have some funnies already. Trauma Society of the shitty concept that is kind of funny, but still really annoying and sad. It's, we call it the Cock Goblin Society of I Hate Children. Now, as always, it's like, Bip, how did you manage to hate children on a chemical scale this time? And it turns out I just thought, whoa, what if first of all I realized that a child with a penis is perfect for bringing in the mouth because you can wrap it around your head? Whoa, I hate that concept. And then what if I decided to let that fucking little midget, who's a godly chemist at least, who just loves that form because he likes teleporting into rooms and autistically raping your mouth. And then I got mad for like 20 minutes about how I imagined him being such an evolutionary epic rapist that I had to figure out, at least with copium and no math, because I was just a copium pattern of like, this could just be a memory of you deleting a cock goblin from space and time. At least in a 20-foot radius of it ever approaches me. I don't even know the math. That was just a chemical adventure. Ah, shit. Someone's coming by. We will point the camera away from him and go over here and tone down the adventure. Alright, so what should I do? What should... we can't talk about that one anymore for at least a few minutes. What am I thinking? No, I'm bored. Let's do a narcissism. I had someone yell at me that they want to call a pastor. I don't know why. I'm not even sure they yelled at me, honestly. But I'm not gonna lie. We did do a video yesterday that, even though it got 0 views, I did do the YouTube video where I invented the punch pussy to save society by creating every element in the world by punching a pussy and then punching my dick. And oh no, I also talked about that to a real person, because so it could be just be a real man. Called his pastor and was like, yo, weird nigga. Talked about chemistry and how in his head he invented the I abuse a pussy and a dick society in order to create all the elements eventually society. And it's like, oh no. Would a normal Christian call a pastor over that? Maybe. So the question is, did someone watch that YouTube video? Or did that black guy I talked to yesterday after he gave me some chicken, which thank you, sir, even though you probably are the only other option in most realism, which fortunately, based on YouTube channel right now, you are the actual most realistic person, unless that YouTube video had a view, and then they autistically figured out how to unview my video before calling a pastor, which is always possible to me. I don't care. I hate all of you. Alright, so fucking, I don't even need to talk about cock comedy anymore. That really traumatized me, just the concept of like, let's go on with the concept where all these absurd chemistry adventures became necessary. It basically became necessary when I kept imagining evolution being based. Too fucking based. I basically imagined what if everything was a god-tier chemist, at least that's their fucking stupid purpose. Right now it's mainly autistic crimes, like the cock goblin, or the fucking I paralyzed the world worldwide to rape things around me society. It's like, whoa. I had a long trauma period where I just had a long story unfold in my head, and hopefully nothing's too real. I'm not gonna lie. The images are all roughly schizophrenic enough to where it could be my own imagination. And there's barely enough images to count as real life. Mostly. Yeah. I don't remember the scenes enough either. There is autistically a lot of frames though, but there's also autistically this thing where it's like a lot of people that I know, so it's like I could be and we dig each other down automatically, which there is a theme where if I imagine a humanoid wanting to stay the perfect chemistry emissions being, that they eventually do normal builds, and they also autistically want to stay humanoid. So then I realize I'm dealing with non-famous people that want to be clones of each other in order to rule society with autochemistry because they don't care about anything except looking remotely human. Which is epic to an extent. They're just like my imagination's idea of what would happen if the reason there are common forms, like with celebrities or even normal people we don't know, is that basically a god-tier humanoid that did not want to be famous decided to value shape-shifting on an emotional chemistry scale. Because, as you might remember from my drug addict chemistry videos, if they're still around, which I'm not sure, but if turns out, if you decide to do emotion chemistry, along with autistically shape-shifting into the perfect forms, it sometimes becomes a pattern where they look like my ex-wife sometimes, at least in my traumatized brain, and it's like, why did you invent this? I'm like, I don't know. I was just bored to make stuff like eyes OP, and it kept being a trauma pattern. What if they were clones? On a godly scale of I'm just really good at chemistry, faggot. And this is my humanoid form. And then I just kept ending up with people I've seen all the time for some reason. And I'm just a dick to myself. Because instead of like somehow inventing strangers, I have to hope I'm wrong. Or else people I know are all using the same autistic build, doing god-tier automatic chemistry, and they all look the same because they don't want to be famous. So they all just go with the same fucking build on an appearance level and shapeshift at the same fucking time. Then I just keep seeing that dude Blake from Dollar General the most. I'm just like, God damn it. I'm like, I'm traumatized enough by you. Apparently, I've invented you're like the ultimate anger chemistry form. And I was like, that's fucking neat. Not. Quit traumatizing yourself with that, you fucking faggot. I hope I'm wrong. I'm not gonna lie, we haven't even done math. That was just me being like, would the ultimate form be if I just autistically made that work? Like, just based on a physicality of like doing emissions all day. And I was like, I don't know, Blake keeps fitting the bill in my head. And I'm just like, I really don't like that. Because he's just like, He ends up at anger chemistry table because he's like has red hair. That's really just it. And a beard. He has like a good goatee for a circle. Just ends up at laser beam eventually if he lights his beard on fire with red dye. If he mixes in like red, brown, and blue or something, he manages to make some of his hair blue. So it could be just the shape of his hair particles alone and the fact he has red hair or something. Yeah, let's rate him bad. Hopefully I don't have to brave this on the walk home. Huh. I guess that light is kind to us. Oh man. I could have brought my cord and risked death to charge my phone. Oh well. Anyway, enough trauma dumping actually no, not enough trauma dumping. We will continue with fucking anything I think of. Like, so first of all, let's just get bored and justify the automatic chemist build a little. Now, the automatic chemist build is actually justified with nerve abuse on the human body, because as you know, nerves generate electricity. So I just imagine, just like with a taser, what if we fucking just abused electricity of our nerves to burn shit around us in order to fucking create a chemical reaction with our fucking skin and muscles and shit, by just walking up to a part in our body, metaphorically, by instead like digging through it or tasing their way through it, and then boom. The nerds make an automatic chemistry table work enough for that if I'm willing to abuse myself all day. Yep. It just works. It just works from there. And then it turns out that since we have individual organs and stuff enough to pout, they should count as different chemicals to an extent, enough to pout. Like, I don't know, autism says in my story, it's like the brain's a 3 if I burn it, the nose is a 5. Hair is a 1 unless I change it to red, then it's a 4. Blue is a 3, green is a fucking yellow card if I fucking hate the card, it's a 7. 8 is just fucking useless, I don't even know why we invent blue. Sometimes blue is an 8, it's a fucking faggot. And the hair follicles are enough to do chemistry with that, but then we consider the rest of the organs because I'm bored and human. And a normal, stable human body is 12 different elements at least in general from there. Based on the organs, add like 6 more elements, and the bones is like 4 elements if I dig around in the right way and put in enough blood and feces. And the feces is what helps the most because I just eat a weird food pattern before abusing my bones. And then, as you know, the feces is the food, digested but still solid. And so then I just end up a bunch of bullshit right there. Alright. And that's how you do it in normal human form. And now we're going to do another autism. But I know what you're thinking, what trauma porn did you create from this autism that cannot be real? I would have dealt with this transphobia on Facebook already if you even fucking said this already. I imagine all the transphobia that could stem from one autistically epic stagnancy combo if there was not anarchy for 3 days, or we at least generated enough chemistry for the universe to form at least once or something. And then I made a trans robot girl build where I basically make myself a doll polymer, like a Your Fade or something. And then the transphobic arc happens in my head on a chemical biochemistry level, because it turns out at least 5 card shovels on my skin, which a card shovel is when they change a lot of elements on my skin, ruins my fucking Your doll body build, and then that fucking sucks. Everyone wants a fucking N-word for that. This is a long rant about all the ways people just threw random shit at me because they're transphobic and they hated my doll form. And how we remade the universe 20 times at least because some dumbass fuck was like, I'm not dealing with you being a trans robot doll. Get card shuffled. Also, fun fact, all those builds are also made with the fact they were supposed to be like an epic polymer, which is basically grows over me to be like metal or shit, but that's still flexible. and it's just funny. They're just supposed to be OP robot builds, basically, with durability and epic amplified stats, like super strength and shit. I try to make robot bodies over my human body, which is supposed to amplify my stats and shit. Like based on strength, defense, accuracy, maybe. Stagnant air. Autistically, I'm now mad about my human form because apparently this is my best. I make everything around me stagnant air combos so that fucking society doesn't change all day on me. So I don't end up being an eternal warp drive if I hate society. And so I'm autistically mad about that because I keep saying to myself that there's like a chance that surprisingly nobody died in at least a 5-mile radius. I could get my trans girl body with the robot perks, like at least enhanced durability, but still flexible. If there was at least not one murder in a 5-mile radius every fucking 5 hours. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really fucking arrogant fucking god-tier society. What if I was just based on chemistry and I autistically get mad about it? Like, what if it was real? What if I was that good? I'm like, I bet I can figure it out. I might imagine being that good an alchemist. Imagine based. And I'm just that cocky, where I just kept saying base, 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 base. I hate you. Because then you're base too, because, oh no, I wasn't a narcissist. In this power fantasy. I did it to where it was based on evolution. And everyone's as good as me. Then it ends up politics ruins everything, because every time an autochemist learns I'm a fucking dumbass, they scream the N-word. And then autistically try to kill me on an autochemist level for the next 5 days until they at least stop making me be a trans girl. God damn. Fuck. 1 second.